Welcome to the Savvy Woman Show. I'm Catherine Magaña, a certified financial planner professional with Savvy Woman Wealth Management. The Savvy Woman Show is dedicated to you. We're here to help you learn about financial topics, life in general. We've interviewed many female advocates, entrepreneurs, business owners, and much more. And we really like to share our life stories and some tips with you so that you can learn from us and we can help you and empower you. Today we have a special guest with us, Corryn Kivett from Evolution Room. Please welcome Corryn.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here.
Great. Well, thank you. And I know you have an amazing background and story, so why don't you go ahead and share with our listeners a little bit about how you ended up in your business.
Well, thank you for setting that up.
Yeah.
So funny enough, I was in corporate finance. I used to work in corporate finance, and in 2018, things took a turn. So I am from San Diego, born and raised. My family are all entrepreneurs and business owners. So my grandfather has owned multiple salons in San Diego, and I was raised by entrepreneurs. So I saw what it was like to run your own business and the pros and the cons, the ups and the downs, right? And I think out of just the love out of their heart, they told me, my mother and my grandfather told me to climb the corporate ladder. They told me to go for the stability, go for the security. So I did what I was told. I am from San Diego, so I went to SDSU. So I'm an alumni of San Diego State University. I graduated with my bachelor's in business, emphasis in finance. I've been loving numbers, so I figured, you know what, I'll go into finance, right? Especially business, always something that I can apply in life. And then I started to climb the corporate ladder. And as I was doing that, I went into financial planning, and I realized that, especially as a woman in the financial planning world, I wanted to get designations under my belt because I wanted to become a financial advisor. So that's what I did. So I became a certified financial planner, and after that I went from working at a smaller financial planning firm to Merrill Lynch. And when I was there, I started to realize that the corporate world wasn't necessarily for me. There's nothing wrong with it. However, I had been raised by entrepreneurs and business owners. I wanted to have something of my own. And slowly but surely, I started to recognize as I was climbing the corporate ladder that I wanted something different. And that's when in 2018, I went in and I decided to leave the corporate career. And when I left, I had recognized that at this quarter life crisis at the age of 26, I had tied my entire self-worth to my career. So in the middle of figuring out what was I going to do, I was also figuring out who I was. And I knew that where I go, I follow. That I'm the common denominator of all of the results in my life. So what was it that got me up until that point? Because I need to know, why did I get to where I was, and what was I going to do differently to get to where I wanted to go? And that's where I tripped over NLP, which stands for Neuro-Linguistics Programming, a huge word that at the time...
So you're a certified NLP coach.
Yes,
and
yes,
that's
practitioner.
Probably something new for a lot of our listeners that aren't aware of what that is. And maybe you want to elaborate a little bit more about what that is. And
I definitely can.
Nice.
So NLP stands for Neuro-Linguistics Programming, which, like I said, really big word that I had no idea even how to pronounce it. Neuro-Linguistics Programming it's the study of human excellence. It's the science of success. It's how we communicate with ourselves and others, the way that we use the language of the mind to get the results that we desire. So I got trained and certified in 2019, so I'm an NLP master coach and trainer.
Okay.
Now I also do trainings in San Diego.
Well, I'm sad to hear that you're not a certified financial planner professional in our industry, because I think you're amazing, you do great, but I definitely can see your passion for what you do. And so tell us a little bit about how you become successful, or kind of what got you to where you're at today.
I'd say consistently desiring growth, putting myself in environments where I can see my own blind spots. Because reality is, it's really hard to see the picture when you're in the frame. So I'm a firm believer that success is available to everyone. Have you ever heard that success leaves clues? We've heard that before, right? So I believe that it is a science that when applied, I can get to where I want to go. So being in environments where I can see my own blind spots, because reality is, I'm the only one that gets in my own way. I got to be able to see the blind spots so that way I can learn, shift, and evolve.
So I saw be, do, have. Is that your mantra? I know that's kind of some of the things that are on your website. Is that something that you live by? And maybe share a little bit about that.
Yeah, phenomenal question. It's definitely something that I live by. And I was trying to remember, where did I hear this concept for the first time? And I honestly can't recall where specifically. However, something tells me that it's either from Earl Nightingale or Jim Rohn, or those are the foundational, lovingly say, gurus that I used to follow. And I remember Earl Nightingale would say something that who you are speaks so loudly that I can't hear what you're saying. So who we are being speaks volumes, right? And who I'm being is affecting my actions. And my actions are therefore creating or not creating the results that I want. So the be, do, have is really a philosophy that I follow of who am I being? Because that's going to affect my actions and also going to affect my results. So the more that I can intentionally show up as who I choose to be to get to where I want to go, it's going to be much more simple.
So another thing I noticed was your do business on purpose. And so I know through some of our series that we do through Savvy Woman, we have a workshop called Savvy Woman Invest on Purpose. And so I was like, oh, I thought of it. I just think being intentional, having purpose. So it really resonated with me. It seems like obviously as you're doing your coaching and working with business owners, having that intention and purpose is probably extremely important.
Oh, definitely. You know, so many people show up unintentionally. We got to show up with a clear intention. What is it that you desire? What is it that you want? And show up with that purpose and investing on purpose. Where do you want to go? And who are you aligning yourself with to get you there? So it's a phenomenal philosophy to follow.
So what's the number one mistake business owners make in the area of building a business on purpose? So what are
the number one mistake? So I'd say the number one mistake is they stay in their comfort zone.
Interesting. Okay.
They stay in their comfort zone and go through the motions, going back to showing up intentionally, right, on purpose. They go through the motions and they do the same things expecting different results, and we all know what that's the definition of, right? So staying in their comfort zone, reality is that we're the sum total of all of our thoughts and all of our actions up until this point. And in order for us to get somewhere different, we're going to have to change. And that's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to get us out of our comfort zone. So success really lies outside of that comfort zone. And the number one mistake, I would say, is that they stay in that comfort zone and they get stuck there. So the more that we can get comfortable being uncomfortable, doing the things that make us nervous, right? Then we see the change. You're spot on. And I even say, do something that makes you uncomfortable, because then that shows you you're alive, right? It shows you that you're going after it. So I'd say staying in your comfort zone.
Nice.
So get out of the comfort zone. Go do something different.
There you go. Okay, so what's the biggest myth or misconception that business owners have about building a business authentic to who they are?
The biggest myth or misconception would be that they have to do it on their own.
Okay.
Going back to, what is it that got me to the success or where I'm at today? We're the common denominator, and we can't see our own blind spots. So I see and hear so many business owners and entrepreneurs fall into the I already know that, or I can do it on my own. When reality is, like I said earlier, we can't see the picture if we're in the frame. So we got to be able to insert ourselves in environments where we see the blind spots. The things that we don't know about ourselves are what's going to get in the way. I mean, when it comes to the Titanic, the Titanic, it was what they didn't see that caused the issue, right? Same thing in our lives. What we don't see is what's going to create the challenges. And the more that we can see the blind spots, the more that we can do something, we can learn from it, and we can evolve.
It's interesting when you say blind spots, because when I do financial planning, I see a lot of financial blind spots with investors and clients.
Definitely.
And sometimes I see things a little differently, or I point things out. And so I think just even as you're dealing with business owners in life, you probably see things too. And it's just interesting, because I think that applies in a lot of different areas of our life.
You have to be able to insert yourself in environments with your clients that you can help them see what they don't see. Because otherwise, you can't create success. You can't get to where you want to go. So absolutely, you got to be able to help your clients see those blind spots.
So what's the first skill every business owner needs when it comes to transforming their purpose into a business?
The first skill would be intentional communication.
Okay.
Intentional and effective communication. And the reason why I say that is because all of us communicate in a very, very different way, both consciously and unconsciously. And when we're in business, at the end of the day, our prospective clients or anyone other than us, they care about, I'm going to lovingly say they care about themselves, right? So the more that we can take our work and shift our communication so that way it lands for someone else to be of influence, to make an impact, right? The more that we can get into other people's worlds and really influence and really make that impact and at the end of the day grow our businesses. So many people will get stuck in their own mindset when it requires us to get out of our own head and to get into the head of the person who's in front of us and in front of the people that we want to impact, that we want to influence, that we want to make a difference for. So it's about getting out of our own head, and a lot of that is through communication.
Nice. So tell us maybe a recent client experience or something that you've been working on, or just maybe an example that you'd like to share with us.
A recent client experience. Okay, so I had a client who was, or is, a real estate agent. And one of her strategies for business is she wanted to do networking.
Okay.
Both open networking and closed networking. However, she had a little bit of resistance. And she said, you know what, Corryn, I just feel like I can't be me. And I started to ask her, when did you decide that? Because so often when we're faced with a challenge in the now, it has nothing to do with the now. It goes back to certain events that we've had in the past. So I asked her, when did you decide that? What comes up for you? And interesting enough, there was a belief that she created from her childhood that was showing up today. A belief that she needed to be a certain way, needed to show up a certain way. So because of that belief, she was unable to truly be herself when out networking with people. And I've always said that the inner world must always work before the outer can. So we must be true and authentic to who we are. We must be showing up from a space of authenticity for us to get the results that we desire, and she wasn't doing that. So once we went back and shifted that belief, she then started showing up differently. And then when you show up differently, you start getting different results. So now she's on a trajectory of networking. She has an entirely new marketing strategy, and she's showing up fully as herself and in who she is, and therefore be, do, have, right? She's doing different actions and getting different results.
Nice. So tell us a little bit about kind of work-life balance or managing life, and how does that work for you?
So work-life balance, I lovingly adopt the term of work-life harmony, because when is there ever balance, right? When is there ever 50-50? I follow the harmony, and for me, I love what I do. At the end of the day, I do love what I do, and we all need a break every once in a while. So my break is at the end of October. I'm going to Hawaii. I'll be spending time with friends and family.
Okay.
Like we mentioned earlier, I'm going to be traveling to Vegas for business, and also going to be staying a little bit longer for fun as well. And then my family is a huge foundation and value of mine, so I make sure to spend time with them, whether it's family vacations or even just doing fun events.
And so what do you like to do for fun?
For fun, I love to dance.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice. Okay.
I'm a dancer, so I dance salsa and bachata, which a few people know what that is, but Latin dancing.
Okay.
So that's what I like to do for fun. And very excited that now things are back and open and live. So
Nice.
glad to be doing that.
Did you take classes? Or okay, how fun. Yeah.
So I decided in 2016 that I got sick and tired of me saying over and over again that I wanted to be a dancer and that I wanted to take classes. So I decided to do something about it. Interesting how that works, right?
Yeah.
So I took classes. I got trained and certified, or not trained and certified. I got trained in salsa dancing and then moved into bachata.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's a really good time. And even before the pandemic was traveling internationally to go.
Really?
So,
Okay. Wow.
it's a good time.
Yeah. Definitely getting out of your box, right?
Yes,
Nice.
definitely get out of the box.
So what's the best way for our viewers to contact you? What's the way that we can connect with you?
Yeah, the best way to connect would be social media. So you can find me at Corryn Kivett, or if you want to connect, via email, Corryn@evolutionroom.co would be the best way to connect.
Great. Okay, so I can see how kind of what you do in working with your clients and kind of tying into what I do, which is financial planning, how kind of money comes into play and really having that money mindset. And so I know we kind of talked a little bit offline about it. And so what do you, when you work with your clients, do you have the discussions around money? Or okay, because I can see how that can kind of tie in with overall
Definitely.
kind of business and planning, and then with their lives, and then how obviously we look at that money aspect too.
Yes, 100%. The money conversation, reality is the relationship that people have with money a lot of times comes back to their childhood.
Yeah.
So being able to have an outside resource coach them through whatever it is that they need to be coached through to even talking about money for some people is tough, right? So definitely having the conversations around money, around what is their mindset with money, where are they investing their money, both personally and professionally. Who do they have in their corner to be able to have those conversations? Because I'm a firm believer we need to surround ourselves with individuals who are experts in what they do, like yourself, to be able to help people get to where they want to go.
So I mentioned earlier that Savvy Woman Invest on Purpose series, and so in that series, we talk about women's strengths and how to apply those strengths to managing money. We also talk about purpose, like what's the intention, and we barely scratch the surface. But one of the things that come up in some of the workshops is a lot of the women that are there say, as a kid, I never talked about money, or I didn't, no one taught me about investing, and so I think, I do see that just from some of the women that have come to our events and hear that a lot. And one of the things that we like to do is to educate women, because I think the more you know, the more you feel comfortable in making decisions. So definitely think there's some overlap there, and being intentional and on purpose. And it's been a real pleasure to hear your background, and I wish you were still in our business, but happy to collaborate with you. I think you have an amazing business and presence, so thank you for all that you do.
Yeah, thank you so much.
So I know you've shared a lot of stories with us today and of experiences, and so once again, do you mind sharing with our audience how to get in touch with you again?
Yes, of course. All social media platforms under Corryn Kivett, Corryn, and then Kivett. You can also go to my website, which is evolutionroom.co.
Okay. And so every show we leave you with an inspirational quote, and today's quote is from Terrence Houlihan. If you wish your life were different, do life differently. If you wish your life were different, do life differently. And I decided to do one more quote because we have her here with us today. So this is from Corryn. It takes courage to change and follow your dreams. Courage you have. It takes courage to change and follow your dreams. Courage you have. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
So we've come to the end of our Savvy Woman Show. I'm Catherine Magaña, a certified financial planner, and it's been an honor to have you here with us today. And remember, knowledge is power. For successful investing, never stop learning, and savvy up.